Okay, this is the second video reviewing the rest of the quiz. We're going to go to this one. Beats by Dre costs $269. The discount's 20%, and then we need to calculate 7% tax. So we're going to use the formula original price times 1 minus R. That is because we want to calculate the 20% discount of the original price. So we want to do that first part. So the original price is $269. Put parentheses, put 1 minus R, which is 20%, but you have to write it as a decimal, not as a percent. So you have a decimal at the end of the 20, move it 1 space over, 2 spaces. It's always 2 to the left, and you end up with 0.20. So you can put 0.20 right there. Let's close the parenthesis, and then let's use a calculator. So as you can see, if you type it in exactly the way it looks, exactly, right? You say 269, type in 269, open up some parentheses, type in the 1 minus 0.20, close parenthesis, hit equal, it'll give you the answer, 215.2. So 215.2 is a new price, right? There's a new discounted price, and that is 215.2. That's a new sale price. Now, of course, you need to calculate taxes. And there's the new formula that we need to calculate taxes. Again, the only difference is that this one had a minus because we calculated a discount. It makes it go down the price. This one's calculating taxes. It's going to make it increase, so that's why it's a plus. So your new price is 215.2, and then put parenthesis 1 plus R. But the rate, the rate is there's a dot right here. Move it over 1, 2. So you're gonna have to have a 0 in front of the 7 with the decimal in the front. So that's gonna be 0.07. So let me go back to that R and change it to a 0.07. We'll just do it in a different color ink. 0.07. Close parenthesis and let the calculator do the work. So if you do that, type it in exactly the way it is on the calculator, you get 230.264. And of course, you need dollars and cents. So you have $230.26, but you got to check and see if the 4 makes it go up or if it stays. And that's going to make it stay. So $230.26. If it were a 5 instead of a 4, it would have gone up to 27 cents, but it's not. So it stays, $230.26, which is option A. Let's move on. One more. So Xbox, $255, that's our original price. $255 multiplied by 1. We're going to do a discount first, so it's going to be a minus, and the discount rate is 30%. So we're going to make that be a 0.30 when you move it over 2 spaces to the left. So 0.30 right there. Close parenthesis, let the calculator do the work. So with the calculator, your answer is 178.5. And this is, again, your new price. After you figure out the sale, it's a new price, a sale price. And now to calculate taxes, you're going to have to increase it. So you're going to take that new price of 178.5 and multiply it by 1 plus, not minus, it's plus. And then this decimal, you're going to move it over 2 spaces, 1, 2. So it's going to be 0.055. 0.055, close parenthesis. And again, let the calculator do the work. So there's your answer with the calculator. And of course, we want dollars. So it's $188.31. But the 7 is actually going to make that 1 go up to a 2. So it's $188.32, option C. A lot of people messed up on number 16, even though it's so easy. Of course, my 16 is not your 16. You got to identify which one that is. But let's get P by itself. There's a positive 2 right there, so you're going to get rid of the positive 2 by subtracting 2. It's going to cancel. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. Now, 2 take away 2 is 0, and so many people freak out right there. But remember, 0 is an actual number. That's the answer. You didn't multiply or divide by a negative right here on the last step. You only subtracted 2, so the inequality is not going to change. This is the correct answer. All right, that is the correct answer. But we need to always think of having the variable on the left side and the number on the right side. So yes, we're going to switch this thing, right? If you had an equation, if it said 0 equals P, you wouldn't leave it like that. You would say P equals 0. So it's the same thing. We're going to take the P and the 0 and switch them. Now this is the correct answer, but I'm going to switch the P and the 0, which means if this was the correct answer, which it is, if it's opening up to the 0, it has to continue opening up to the 0. So the answer is P is less than or equal to 0. Less than is to the left. Greater than is to the right. So yes, it will be a closed dot at 0, and it's going to be going to the left. Remember, anything with a solid line underneath it is going to be a closed dot, which all of them are closed dots on these multiple choice. And it's 0 to the left, so the only correct possible answer is this one right here. Closed dot at 0 going this way. Okay, let's move on to the next one. On this one, we're not even solving the inequality. All we're doing is translating. Okay, so a lot of people messed up on this because everybody knows, what is 4n really? What is 4n really? 4 times a number. Okay, so it's obviously not C, -4. Come on, there's no negative. And it's not D. Okay, so you're already down, seriously guys, you're already down to a 50-50 chance here, right? But then again, I want you to understand it, not guess the right answer. So it's either A or B. So the question is, what does is at most, what does that mean, is at most?
Is less than or equal to,
Like, let's say it could be 5, but it could also be less than 5. So what we're saying is that means less than or equal to. Less than or equal to 5. Is at most 5, that's less than or equal to 5. Now, if we go to the other one that says is fewer than, then it has to be less than 5. It can't be or equal to. So the correct answer is A and only A. Let's move on to the next one. Solving. For some crazy reason, a lot of people messed up with the minus minus. You have to change the minus minus to plus plus. So what do we really have? You have R plus 5 is greater than -2. So you're going to subtract 5 here, subtract 5 there. You're going to have R, you don't flip it, it stays -7. So R is greater than -7. And that is, well, check this out. All of them say R is greater than -7. So that's kind of confusing. We actually need to look at the graph and see which graph represents greater than -7. So are you going to have a solid dot or an open dot? Open. If it doesn't have a solid line underneath it, it's not going to be a solid dot. So it's open dots, and greater than is to the right. So it's either this open dot one or that one. This one goes to the left because it's less. This one goes to the right because it's greater. So it is B. Now, if you get confused with that, just think about this inequality. It looks like an arrow telling you to go that way. Okay? Anyway, let's move on. 19. Solving, I need to get the x by itself on the right side. I'm going to go plus 15 to get rid of that minus 15, plus 15. Let me zoom in a bit. So what do I have left on the right side? Just x. I did not multiply or divide by a negative, so it's going to stay the same. And -8 plus 15, that is positive 7. Again, this is the answer, but you want the x on this side and the 7 on that side. But since this is the answer and it's opening up to the 7, it has to continue opening up to the 7. In other words, you flip it. So there's your final answer. X is less than or equal to 7. So that or equal to, does that mean it's going to be an open dot or solid dot? Solid. So you could already eliminate D because that's an open dot. So it's either A, C, or B. Actually, A and C are at different values, not 7, so it can't be those. So it has to be B. It has a closed dot at 7. There's a closed dot right there. And it's going to the left because it's less. Let's try the last question. And just because this is my last question, you got to find it in yours. It's not 20 on yours. So find out which question this is. Go to that one. And right here, again, you're not even oh no, we are solving. We need to create the inequality and then solve it. So what you guys should be doing is writing down twice a number. You're going to say 2x or 2n, since the multiple choice answers have n. And then it says minus 4 is less than, that's easy, is less than straightforward, is telling you that it's less than. Now on the other side it says 3 times the number. That's that same number, so 3 times that same number, n. So there's your inequality. And as you could see, all of those except, actually you already know the answer. The answer is going to be A, because that's the only one that has that exact inequality. All the other ones have something different. This is a greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So we know that it's A already. But just for fun, let's solve this thing we're going to go plus 4. Actually, no, let's get rid of the n's first. So instead of going plus 4, we have n's on both sides. Let's get rid of one of them. I want to get rid of that 3n by subtracting 3n. It'll cancel out. Subtract 3n. You will have negative 1n minus 4 is less than nothing. Okay, so after that, you're going to go plus 4. Cancels, plus 4. Your new inequality is going to be negative 1n plus, actually, no, I'm sorry, less than 4. And now for my final step, I want to get rid of that negative 1 times n in the front by dividing by negative 1, dividing by negative 1. And once again, when you hear the words divided by a negative, what should you think? Switch the inequality. And there's your answer. N is greater than negative 4. We already knew the answer was A. We're done. Guys, I completed this whole quiz in one period, explaining every one of my steps, right? Explaining every one of my steps. You guys have to finish this thing tomorrow in class, okay? There is no extra time. So study this tonight so you could be fast, and tomorrow we're retaking this quiz.